We are back with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. In today's episode, this reflection, it's going to be a short but sweet one. And it is about curbing something that our modern society that we live in is totally okay with. In fact, it encourages it. And that is around this quality of excitement. We say it in passing. So excited to see you tomorrow night. So excited for the trip coming up. But this philosophy cautions us against excitement. The Gita, one of the canonical texts of this philosophy, it is a sermon about controlling our emotions in many ways. Living a life of steady wisdom, of approaching things while having emotions but not being emotional. I'll say that again. Have emotions. They're beautiful. Everything that the mind produces can be beautiful. Emotions, sentiments, likes, dislikes, if it's guided towards the higher, if it's guided towards our higher nature, if it's guided towards the service of our community. But no one wants a surgeon that's so emotional if something goes wrong, they just, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. No, you want a surgeon that's dialed in, composed, can handle things going wrong. Is unfazed by things going wrong. Same is true for a parent. Same is true for a friend. Same is true for anyone in your community. We can give affordances for people that aren't composed. Absolutely. We all have friends or neighbors or family members that we wouldn't necessarily describe as composed or can handle chaos, grace under fire. But certainly the ones that can, we really admire. And when we are composed, when we have grace under fire, that's when we're our most useful selves to our community. And one of the subtle ways that this philosophy cautions us to guide our emotions, to have them, but not be governed by them, is around excitement. A dog, when it gets excited, could run into the street, get hit by a car. It's the same for us. When we get excited, we could accidentally do the worst possible thing we could do in that moment. Now, I'm not talking about the, in passing phrases we might use. As Vivekananda says, sometimes you just got to kick the soccer ball. This great sage within this galaxy of sages and saints says that sometimes when you're just in this game, you just got to kick the soccer ball. So, someone says, so excited to see you. For the love of God, do not preach or deliver a sermon. But maybe take some elbow room when you yourself are drawn to say something like, so excited for this afternoon. Maybe instead say, I'm looking forward to this afternoon. Or it should be so much fun to XYZ this afternoon. But the reason I say take some elbow room, even in using the word excited, is because what we say really matters. And any chance that we have to reflect on any of the timeless principles within this philosophy, like when we're in the middle of writing a text, thinking, you know what? Excitement. Excitement is what the dog feels right before it runs into the street. Maybe what's best going into that afternoon isn't excitement. Maybe it's saying, looking forward to it, and just a tiny bit, a few inches of space between you and indulging a sense of excitement. Maybe it provides you clarity of, oh, wow, we could do this actually. Or this would be really fun to add into the plans. It gives us a few seconds of pause. That dog, if it had a few seconds of pause, might not run into the street. Having emotions, but not being governed by them. Emotional comes up so often in the Gita, the 30-minute dialogue between the warrior prince Arjuna and his charioteer. But chapter 12, verse 15, the speech without excitement, which is truthful, pleasant, and beneficial, and also the practice of sacred study, are called austerity of speech. Speech without excitement. Speech can also symbolically, it can also stand in for action, action without excitement. It is non-impulsive action or speech. It's not springing directly from the mind. I think it, now I'm going to say it. I think it, now I'm going to do it. But it is speech or action that emanates from thought, the mind for sure, but then reflection. Is this the right thing for the outcome that I want, or that would be best and would best serve my family, the people around me, my future self? It's on the other side of judgment. Speech or action with judgment, reflection, thoughtfulness, that is beautiful and elegant, simplifying. It is action with those qualities, that is service. Action with excitement might lead to our downfall in an impulsive moment. It doesn't take very long to think through situations in life where you can really undo a whole lot of good, a whole lot of rhythm you've built for yourself in your life with an impulsive action that might take a minute, but has downstream catastrophic effects. And it can start with entertaining and indulging impulsiveness leading up to that moment. The root of the word excitement means to stir up, to let ourselves get stirred up, to stir ourselves up. Might not sound that bad. 20 or 30 innocuous moments throughout the course of a month or a life. But all it takes is one impulsive mistake of massive significance. Letting ourselves get excited for that 30th time in a row, 300th time, 3,000th time, without thought, without reflection, without reason and judgment, without seeing the end in the beginning. And you see the real cost to a pattern of excitement. Arthur Schopenhauer had this great question of, do your words come from stillness, or do they come from more words? I think the same can be said for our action. Does our action come from excitement, or does it come from stillness? Does it come from selfishness, or could we orient it, tweak it, guide it to where it comes from service? Does it lead to our detriment, or could it lead to our evolution? That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. When we notice that excitement building up, you can feel it in your body. You don't need to shame that it's there. You don't even need to repress it. Don't suppress it. This philosophy is very clear. Don't repress and suppress emotions. Let it be there. See it. Even if you feel like you need to act on it, act on it. But do it with the intention of transcending that kind of excitement, that kind of impulsivity in the future. Like I said, and this is so uniquely Vedantic, because I've never heard a philosophy give this type of advice. But I'll say it again. You can even do it. Impulsively reaching for another cigarette when you're trying to quit. Do it. Light it up. Huff and puff on that bad boy, but do it with the intention of stopping. Lean into that excitement for that upcoming movie, that time with friends, that vacation, but do it with a little bit of observation of what happens inside of us when we feel that and potentially indulge that. And then try the alternative. The next time you feel it coming on, just say, you know what? Let me take a step back. I'm not going to indulge it this time. And with that observation of both, see which you prefer. We'll see you next time on the Daily Vedantic.